How's your therapy going? Business?
It's going good. Thank you. Why don't we open up our service now with our opening statement.
There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God the Good.
And at this time, let's call our attention to the Christ candle. And this is to remind us of the Christ within us, the love within us, and let it shine within us, and not only within us, but throughout the world. Let's share our vision and mission statement.
Centered in God, we inspire spiritual transformation, creating a world of love, peace, and prosperity. We are an inclusive spiritual community, inspiring, awakening, and serving in love.
And to Today, we actually have a child.
Yes.
Is he single?
Very. You gotta do this?
No, he wants to taste it. I want to share our children's blessing.
We love you, we bless you, we behold the Christ in you. We accept you just the way you are. Walk in beauty, you are divine.
We're going to go ahead and sing another song. Go ahead and stand up. Lead me to the light. Very beautiful, flowy song. It'll guide you right through. Lead me to the light. Lead me to the
the prayer box up here, please?
Almost forgot about it.
Thank you, Joyce.
Prayer, the center of our belief system, that connection with that divine mind, that divine presence. Knowing that as we ask, our minds and hearts are open to the awareness of the healing process that is always available to us. So we open ourselves and we give thanks to the divine, give thanks to God, that all of these situations, all of these people, everything that has been written down on these prayer requests have opened our hearts. And as we focus, as we pay attention, as we send our love, our divine energy towards these requests, we also are open and receptive to all of the requests, all of the needs, all of the desires of our hearts are open. We give our thanks, and as we ask, we are answered. And for this we give our grateful thanks. And so it is. Amen.
It's now time for our daily word. It's also with your bulletin if you want to read along. Imagination. The power of imagination is the power to create change in my world. The power of imagination allows me to see beyond appearances. As I tune in to divine mind through daily prayer, I open myself to ideas. They may come in visions, dreams, or gentle whispers within. As they arise, I perceive the world and my life in their true perfection. Through the power of imagination, I envision peace and harmony among individuals and actions. I affirm prosperity and abundance in all homes and hearts. Divine mind shows me the way. I take action to manifest my dreams. I invite the universe to surprise me with possibilities. Inspired by spirit, I am free to be creative. I make the best of my time and resources. Psalm 85:8. Let me hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace to his people, to his faithful, to those who turn to him in their hearts. Let's now prepare our minds and our hearts and our spirit for the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
And move even deeper into that place of oneness and connectedness. Breathe. Breathe. Inspire. Breathe out. Expire. Letting go. Inspiration. Expiration. Breathing into that power of the divine to shift our perception, to allow our imagination to move into that place of oneness with the divine. How do I imagine that divine energy, that divine God? This is something that is not visible with our eyes. It is only visible with our hearts, our minds, our imagination. So in this moment, we breathe into that. Breathe into our imagination. Breathe into shifting our perception from this ego process, our conscious process, into that openness, into that oneness with the divine. Breathing, opening, allowing. And in this place of oneness, allowing our perceptions, our understanding to shift from that which is maybe not going the way we want it to potential, to possibility, or opportunity to experience that divine healing power within our lives. Breathing in. Breathing out. Moving in to that deep silence of our own soul. Into the silence. Take another deep breath, gently bringing your awareness here to this time, to this place, but holding that oneness. We are one with one, allowing our perception to know that, to experience that, feel the healing energy. Feel it moving in and through your body. See it radiating out through you, connecting with each one of us here in this group, multiplying our awareness of that light. See us as a transformer, expanding that light out to those that we love and care about, out to those who are not here this morning for health reasons of their own, for health reasons of people that are close to them in their life, for those who are out there enjoying the world that has been created for us and that we create through that divine power. Opening us, reaching out, touching all those lights. In our imagination, allow our perception to see this amazing light shining out, radiating. See all the colors of the rainbow radiating out from this center. Embracing the globe. See all the points of light on this globe, all those points of light, multiplying, reaching out into the universe, beyond our imagination, beyond our ability to perceive. Breathe into that. Allow gratitude. Allow the experience of that divine creative love. And for this awareness, for this experience, precious Spirit, we give our grateful thanks. And so it is. Amen. Oh, the tambourine is left on my top. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, all right. So today it's about changing our perceptions. You know, we've been on this journey since the first of the year of transforming, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so we've been looking at all the different processes that is required in this transformation process. So one of the things that we can do, or hopefully are willing to do, would like to do, is begin to shift our perception of what the world is like. So let me ask you, in this moment, what is your personal perception of who you are in this divine flow of creativity? Who are you? How does that move in and through you? Are you this divine creative person? Do you think about having what Charles Fillmore called the atom-smashing power of the mind? That we have that divine power within us that is just boggles our mind, boggles our imagination. Do we see ourselves as having that kind of energy, of being able to operate in the world in that way? Fillmore reminds us of this. Jesus did not claim to have exclusive supernatural power. We give it to him, but he didn't claim it. That the power that is usually credited to him. He explored the ether energy. So the ether, this energy spectrum that we know a lot more about now, or at least it's more in our consciousness than was when Charles was writing. He explored the ether energy, which he called the kingdom of heaven. Think about that, the kingdom of heaven. His understanding was beyond that of the average person, but he knew that other people could do what he did if they would only try. He encouraged his followers to take him as a center of faith. So not saying, oh, you are God and you can do this, but what you know, what you believe, what you understand, what you bring into this world, and use that power that he demonstrated. And Jesus said, he that believes on me, the works that I do, shall you do, and more also. Greater works than these will you do. We really take that in. We have that power. We think of Jesus and the other holy people out here who seem to do things way beyond this, and Jesus said, no. If you understand, if you accept what I have, you can do even greater things. So we have to think about this. Where is our perception? Well, here is a quote that spoke to me from Anonymous. What screws up most in this life is the picture in our heads of how it is supposed to be. Think of that. What is the picture in my head of how it is supposed to be? We probably don't have a picture of that divine power that we can influence our lives out there. So think about that. And then here's this quote from Henry Ford that a lot of you are familiar with. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. Ooh. Our beliefs are our perceptions. It's how we look in the world. It's our consciousness. So again, think about what is my current perception of myself in this world. So how do we shift this? What is a consciousness shift? How does that happen? So scientists, we think about, scientists say this is the way it is. When you go through all this is how people saw the world back 2,000 years ago and forward and forward and forward. Well, we're right in the middle of a consciousness shift right now for scientists. There's a couple of different things that have just been talked about just within the last few weeks. So over the last year or so, there's been this discussion, maybe you've heard, is Pluto a planet? Is Pluto not a planet? Well, what they have discovered, now they haven't seen it yet, but what they are sure now is out there is a huge planet way out beyond the orbit of Pluto. Oh, what does that do when scientists looking at, our solar system? So here's something we didn't know was there. Well, the next one is kind of related to that. So how have they begun to decide there's this planet out there? Well, it's because of anomalies in the gravitational spectrum that because we're sending out, all of these observers and things that are going out of the solar system, they can begin to see these gravitational anomalies. Well, the second one that has just come up within the last, well, at least been published within the last couple of weeks, actually. So Einstein, way back when, said there were gravitational waves, because with his mathematics and his theories, gravitational waves, but he never could prove it. Nobody could prove it. They've worked at proving it all these many years. Well, guess what? They've had evidence that these gravitational waves exist. What does that do to the consciousness, to the perception of the science that's related on that? So here's new evidence that says things are different than what we knew, what we believe. So new evidence, new perceptions, shift in consciousness. Think about that. New evidence, new perceptions, shift in consciousness. So how do we begin to see it that way? Mystics, spiritual seekers, how do we describe, I just included myself as a mystic. Well, I am a spiritual seeker, so are all of you. How do we describe that process, that kind of an integration of deep meaning into things that previously didn't make any sense? Have you had that? You read this and you've thought about it in a different way, and all of a sudden you go, oh, aha. So we all know that, aha, that's what that means. We've had a shift in perception. We've heard something, we've seen something that has shifted our perception. So, you all have a handout. So I want you to take it out. So we're gonna do this. So, tell me what you see. Tell me what you see in your handout. An old woman and a young woman. Okay? So you see, now think about that. So, which one did you see first?
The young one.
The young one. And what kind of words, when you saw the young one, what kind of words just kind of popped up in your mind? Kind of pretty, different, whatever.
Attractive, yes.
Now, what kind of words can everybody see? Everybody sees a young woman. Now, okay. So what do you see, Karen?
I see the young woman. She reminds me of the dancer in the Follies Bergère.
Yeah. So yeah, something fun and light.
Yeah.
Now, do you see the old woman?
I don't.
I see the old woman, and it feels kind of heavy. She looks a little depressed, looking down.
Yeah.
The cheek becomes the nose of the old woman.
I see.
And you see her? Play with it just a little
The
bit.
ear is her eye.
Because this is just a wonderful example of shift in perception. Oh, I see this picture with this pretty lady, and however I think of her, there's just a really nice, fun energy about that. Or I look and, and it's hard sometimes now for me to look and there, okay, I got her. Here's the old lady who's looking kind of depressed. And, oh, there's a whole different energy going around in that process. So a nice, simple example of shift in perception. So, those things come along, fairly frequently. You get the opportunity to do that. Pay attention. How does my perception shift in that process, and what's the energy that goes along with that as I shift my perception. Just sitting here looking at this, you know, oh, the old lady's looking kind of sad and down, and can you feel, okay, something's, you know, oh, the young one is looking pretty, and she looks like she's part of the Follies, and how simple, just looking at something like that as a picture, feeling the difference in those energies. Okay, here's another one. All right, what can you tell me about this glass?
It's empty.
It's empty. Not as empty as what I thought. Empty, okay. Anybody see it differently? Anybody see it differently? All right, now can you tell me about the glass?
Yeah, cool.
Half full, okay.
Half empty.
Half empty. Does anybody see it as full? David,
It is
tell me
full.
about the full glass.
It's half full of water and it's half full of air.
Yeah. Oh. Think about our perception. Think about this process when we looked at this and said, oh, it's empty. Well, isn't that air, that oxygen that is filling, is far more vital and important actually than water. Now, water is really important. We can't get along very well without water, but we get along a lot longer without water than we can with the air that is filling this glass. So think about, what is our perception? How do we look at things? How do we think about what we have in our life? Or how do we look at something and say, oh, I don't have that? You know, and can I begin to use something as simple as this glass of water and say, I can focus on it being half full, I can focus on it being half empty, or can I make that perception shift and see it no matter what? It is always full. It is always full. Now, what does that do to our energy within us? If I begin to look out there, okay, instead of a glass, maybe it's my bank account. Instead of my bank account, maybe it's my physical well-being. Maybe it's what's going on with my job, with what's going on with my family. Can I begin to shift my perception in a way that I can see it differently? We had an interesting conversation upstairs for our during our class, and somebody brought up one of the political people and asked a question about her feelings about that and how she could shift that. And as we discussed, we really got into this place that, you know, this whole political thing is a wonderful opportunity to look at people who have different opinions than what we have, and what is our perception when we see somebody who doesn't have the same opinion I have. Oh, I want to get angry, I want to get, you know, whatever. I'm going to step back, I'm going to shut myself off. Instead of saying, oh, look at whoever this is that's up here, look at the buttons that are being pushed. Oh, can I begin to see that as something I need to learn, to be able to say, oh, why is that making me angry? What is happening with that process in me? So what a different way of looking at all of these things out here. And one of the things that I realize is when people are disagreeing with different viewpoints is some of the languaging that is being used, you know, the four-letter words and things like that. Part of me goes, well, it's not their opinion, it's how they're expressing their opinion, you know, and I just, okay, I might agree with their opinion, but I don't want that energy of how they are expressing their opinion in that process. So we begin to see what are the opportunities we have to see the world out here, and how can we begin to shift our perception. And so, you know, we look at all of our religious teachings, and, you know, we look at the language they try to experience. And have you ever tried to tell somebody about a very deep experience that you had? And what happens? I just don't have the language. So, but we make up language. We do that, and then somebody else hears that language, and maybe their perception is very different from what we intended it to be at that point in time. But we begin to realize the deeper something is, the more difficult it is to express that. So ultimately, we have to really go down inside of ourselves and pay attention. What is going on with me at this moment? How do I get that divine energy moving and flowing and shifting in me so that I can begin to perceive things in a different way? So religious literature, so see if these words resonate. Salvation, enlightenment, samadhi, awakening, awareness, grace. Those are all words for an expanded spiritual awareness. But do they really grasp it? And you hear the word samadhi. You know what that means? Anything for you? Nothing for me. But if I was a Hindu or a Buddhist, I'm not sure which tradition that comes from, it would have a lot of meaning to me. What about salvation? Ooh, some of us want to take a deep breath and say, oh, don't think I want to go there. Oh, but does that mean the same thing as enlightenment? Does it mean the same thing as awakening, awareness, grace? So we begin to see the difficulties of when we have this shift in perception, how do we begin to maybe sometimes even explain it to ourselves in this? Psychology refers to insights. But if psychology says, but what is that aha moment? That's an insight. That's a shift in perception. So we begin to pay attention to what is our vocabulary around this. And so part of it is what is going on out there. So I have a perception of this process. What is going on in here? How does my perception shift with that? And can I bring that perception in here? So a lot of times with people who write about these divine interventions, and they use the word ineffable. It took me a long time to figure out what that word means. It means I can't describe it. I can't describe it. So when you see somebody see that word ineffable, and a lot of spiritual writers will use that, it means there just aren't any words. This is how I'm letting you know. Whoever made up that word, that's what it means, is I cannot describe it. What has created our perception of the world? Well, where did I grow up? What were my parents like? What was my culture like? What did, depending on how old we are different relationships in our lives. We think about, we created these perceptions within ourselves, sometimes without even being aware of that's what they are, until something pushes one of those buttons. So instead of, and we have been taught, if it pushes our buttons, well, it's your fault. Your fault. You hurt me. You upset me. You made me angry. Or, oh, you made me so happy. Oh, I can't be happy without you. All of those. But when we shift our perception, when we begin to see, we can look at, oh. And I think, again, this political spectrum is a perfect time to do this, to see what buttons are being pushed. Where is that taking me? Am I angry? I really, as we were talking upstairs, I realized it's also wonderful because here are all of these people out here that I'm having all of these interactions in my head with, and I don't have to take it personally. There's no way. They don't know who I am. They're not talking to me. They're not talking about me, but I can feel all of those. Is it fear? If it's somebody I disagree with, is it something I agree with? So I have an opportunity to maybe examine some of this process without that emotional process in here. Except then when you see the people who are allowing it, okay, this person thinks very different from mine. I'm going to use all of these nasty words to express that. why are they taking it personally? If you're one of those who, and every once in a while I do, I don't want to use 4-letter words, but I go, yeah, this person really disagrees with me. But it's much easier to get past that and to examine and say, where am I? What are those perceptions that are inside of me that I don't even know are there until something pushes that button? So here's tying this together with Charles Fillmore. You see things not as they are, but as you are. Not as they are, but as you are. We did that with the, remember with the paintings a couple of weeks ago? And, you know, people who really liked one and didn't like the other, or, you know, where did that come from? It came from within us. Your perception is shaped according to your previous experiences, according to your faith, according to where you are in consciousness. So look back. You know, you can think about, okay, at one point in time, this is how I would have reacted to this situation. Oh, wow, I don't do that anymore. Isn't that wonderful? We can only function within the self-imposed, get this, self-imposed boundaries of our present consciousness. So remember, all these boundaries on our consciousness come from our own self. Our environment is of our own making, a true picture of our state of consciousness. And that's going to be pretty scary out there. But we can shift our perception and go, ooh, I can see this differently. Don't try to set things right. Well, that's against everything we've ever been taught. Just be sure that you see them rightly. When you see things in the right perspective, you establish your mastery, for you allow them entrance into your consciousness on your terms. On your terms. So concisely, does Fillmore ever get concise? Consciousness is our habitual attitude. It is the sum total of all the notions and beliefs acquired from past experience and prior thinking. Let me read that again. Consciousness is our habitual attitude. It is the sum total of all the notions and beliefs acquired from past experience and prior thinking. These have settled into a definitely formed body of thought relating to anything that is in our present experience. What do we think about that? And here's what Jesus said. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, or about your body, what you will wear. So we think about worry as consciousness, perception. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Since you cannot do this very little thing, why do you worry about the rest? But seek his kingdom, and all these things will be given to you as well. I left out the important line. And your Father knows that you need all of these things. But seek his kingdom, and these things will be given to you as well. So that kingdom, that shift of perception into this power that is out there, can we begin to shift into that energy? So, I ask you again, what is your personal perception of who you are? Are you a divine channel for divine creativity? Do you perceive yourself as having access to this power? Remember, you are one with the one. You are one with the one, and all of that power. And so it is.
Thank you, Carol. This is something I could really relate to. First of all, my husband, he's an astrophysicist, and he studies gamma reverse, so he had told me a couple weeks ago that this discovery was coming out, but he didn't swear to secrecy. not to tell anybody.
She's in the know.
And then this press conference came out. And then the other thing was that I'm actually reading this book called Reinvent Yourself and Become the Person that you're meant to be. And the author talks about how we have this sense that we have this personality, this fixed personality, but it actually can change. Like we might have this feeling like, well, I'm just poor, I'm always going to just struggle financially, or I'm sick, or here's one for a lot of us, I'm getting old, and life is going to just go downhill. Or for me, it was, I'm shy. You're never going to get me up here or in front of that piano. Anyway, so thank you, Carol. That was very affirming.
Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and sing our next song, which is Confident Living. The verse will be up here, but it's also number 159 in your red book. 159 if you want to follow along here. 159. Confident living, better of light, comes from the Spirit with glorious light. Confident living cleanses my soul, giving the Spirit fullest control. Always works.
Can I have the teachers come forward, please? And we can confidently give as we know that God gives back to us. Let's share together.
inexhaustible resource of spirit is equal to every demand. There is no reality in lack. Abundance is here and now manifest. All that I have is all that I give. I gratefully share as I gratefully live. All that I have is all that I give, and I share it abundantly now. All that we have is all that we give. We gratefully share as we gratefully live. All that we have is all that we give, and we share it abundantly now. And we share it abundantly now. And we share it abundantly now.
Thank you for the harmony.
And then I share again.
Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Lovingly I give, and lovingly I receive.
Do we have any announcements? Karen?
Well, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, so Mukti is going to be here, so teacher from the West Coast, so this is not a unity thing, but it is, it comes from that Buddhist Hindu tradition, so everybody is welcome to come, and 7 o'clock, $15 at the door, so that's coming up this next week.
And Carol, you don't have to be there both nights. I mean, it's just
No,
one night
it's
or the
not,
other.
it's not a continuing
Yes, it's
process.
one night or the other, so I'm gonna try to make it Wednesday.
Yeah, me too, I have an art class on Tuesday.
Oh, yes.
How about David or Debbie, any announcements? No.
And just don't forget, we'll definitely convene this week for youth group, Thursday night, 6:30 to 7:30. So we're always excited. We have, I was very pleased that the kids came up with some topics that they wanted to discuss last week. So y'all be praying for me that I come up with some good answers. And we'll meet Thursday. Again, if you know some teenagers that want to come, they don't have to be a member of Unity to come and have fun.
And I believe it's this Saturday, is it Susan's workshop?
Oh, is that
Next week from Saturday. The 20, yes, it is. It's
So
on-
this coming Saturday, Susan Holliday is going to be giving a workshop. I believe it's like from 9:30 to 12 on the caregiver's way.
And she will be our guest speaker next Sunday also.
Oh, yeah. sure.
How much is that?
It's $50.
50?
And just a reminder that after service, sometimes some of us like to go out for lunch. So be thinking about that, thinking about where you'd like to go. And please join us. We'd love to have you with us.
Our peace song and prayer for protection. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator.
presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Well,
And that's the truth. Yeah, we can go say that after.